I was frozen today!
Happy Veterans Day, my brave soldiers! Let's celebrate with an amazingly underrated Twilight Zone fable for the ages. I was genuinely surprised at how good Still Valley is, as this is an episode which spotlights Confederate troops under a sympathetic light and delivers a deep, thought-provoking moral at the same time. The visuals and concept alone truly elevate what I once feared was going to be another droll, boring episode into something fierce as soon as the magic entered. Happy to report that this might be another hidden gem of the series, under a lot of debris. In this tale, we follow a Confederate troop dubbed Sergeant Paradine, dealing with the crippling blows during the Civil War, as he and his men are struggling to win this battle among brothers and dread that the Union have conquered their turf. However, while scouting out an annexed town to spy on Union numbers, he discovers that everyone there has been frozen, alive, but perfectly still in the valley.
There it is! There it is!
The creepy frozen-in-place soldiers is an utterly horrifying image, as they're all stuck like statues in a similar vein to Elegy, but they aren't dead, just stuck in stasis, unable to move or escape while still conscious. That's simple yet super effective in scary visuals. Like the space cemetery, there's something eerie about all the quiet and spooky dolls. While realizing that every soul in this valley is still, the Sarge meets an eccentric weirdo old man called Teague, who claims that this was all his doing. For you see, he's a magic man, and he casted a hex upon them Yankees so they couldn't conquer his city. Old man Teague is actually a Satanist.
I'm a witch man, like my pappy afore me.
I guess that makes me a warlock.
Yep, just like that, Old Man Teague is a loud and proud witch man who fully supports the Confederation and is doing his part in wartime with dark magic. He reveals his power in honestly the funniest way ever.
It's here's what done it. This here book.
I love the big-ass Warcraft font to spell it out for us. Not to mention the abrupt reveal right into it. After some slow tension and unease behind the frozen troopers, the show randomly just dumps it on you like that. Yep, witchcraft. Old Man Teague is a satanic southerner who has held on to this magic notebook for many a lifetime, using its dark spells to his advantage. In this case, as a way to fight in the war. The Still Valley residents are trophies he's keeping in order to strike terror in the Yankees, who think they stand a chance against him. Paradine, like all Twilight Zone protagonists, questions this, but quickly becomes a believer in the Wiz after seeing his true godlike power. The dude playing Old Man Teague is easily the best actor in this, because he is having the time of his life in this role, as the Warlock Master is so delightfully over the top, kooky, and smug in his epic power. He comes across as this demented prospector, but takes pride in his Wiccan heritage. This episode is sorta another deal with the devil type of plotline, so the actor clearly dives all in on the sketchy Dark One persona. He definitely makes this so much fun, and brings such a deranged sense of wonder to a very mysterious figure.
Hypnotism. Hypnotism. This is conjure stuff. The devil. That's who you're in league with. The devil himself. That's who we'll have fighting on our side. The devil.
Aside from this enjoyably arrogant madman, the acting is quite decent in this plot from all. The Confederates are all so beaten down and cynical, so they perfectly add a war as hell tone. It makes the intro to this more smug baddie a metric ton more impactful, as he blatantly shows there's something off about him. Old Man Teague reveals to the Sarge that with his magic Sith Lord text, he has enough power to topple the entire Union giant army and score easy victory in the name of the Grey. However, the only reason why he hasn't left this valley to do so is because he's dying. The old man is at death's door and won't live past sunrise, but he seeks to pass on his family book to his Confederate brothers so they can wield the power of Satan and win the war in his place.
The South shall rise again!
Unfortunately, the Sarge is very reluctant to take up such a request because even in spite of his ideology, renouncing God for the Devil's army is too sick. But the old-timer admits that it doesn't matter. He ultimately knows that he has to face death, but he still wants to offer the troops the gift anyway for when they face death. The Witch Manual is given away to Paradine by default for him to take the choice on what he plans to do with it. The old man dies, Paradine returns to his men with this OP weapon, and we get the big dilemma of the story. Is it okay for the military to use a devastating weapon of mass destruction in order to win their battle at the cost of their souls? I really love this theme, given that the old man openly proclaims that the superweapon is fueled by Satan. There's a huge moral struggle among the soldiers. Some totally want to use the book so they won't die a crushing defeat, while others are unsure if they want to embrace evil entirely and sell out to the forces of hell, but rather die honorably in battle and remain loyal to the Lord. There are so many valid arguments and questions raised by this that it eerily feels real. There's a harsh look through the eyes of soldiers in a war, pondering if it's moral, smart, or even justified to use a twisted method to gain your victory, even if it's at the cost of your humanity. It's a test of character to see if these soldiers have been so broken by war that they're willing to sacrifice all morals to win it any way possible, or if they can hold on to their nobility even in the face of defeat.
You either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
It's honestly made more impactful that we're watching this from the POV of the Confederates, who we know have a sketchy place in history. While we are aware of their stance on some ideas, the episode gives such a solemn reminder that not every Johnny Reb was a racist, illiterate hick, but simply soldiers just following orders. This episode actually humanizes the Confederate grunts and shows a genuine struggle of their morals, since they ironically don't want to be in bed with the devil or go that evil. It's a rather unapologetic yet intriguing outlook on how far you can go through war at the risk of losing yourself completely or battling to stay human. Sadly, there are some lame moments. While I love the satanic powers and creepy visuals from it, apparently when Paradine reports back to his superior, he mentions that he was wielding the magic to defeat the Union reinforcements off screen. He tells us he did more cool magic to kick butt, but we never see it. Instead, he tells everyone about the book's magic over showing off more epicness like the Still Valley. Why?
He costs money!
They really take some shortcuts in the final act. It's a tad jarring for such a visually stunning war story, but the climax is pretty much a dialogue discussion, with more telling than showing. Though I'll admit, it's a lot of philosophical type of arguing. After much debate over whether or not it's right to use the spellbook, the Sarge makes the ultimate decision to burn it, once he realizes that they can all become Super Saiyan gods if they renounce the name of the Lord and pledge themselves as elite minions of the devil. In the end, the Johnny Rebs accept that it's not worth literally selling their souls for victory, and mail the book back to hell. However, we get our twist ending. After the book is burnt, the troops are summoned for their final battle in Gettysburg. Yep, the main characters are entering the most brutal fight of the Civil War, where their forces suffer a devastating defeat and got rid of their super weapon, accepting their fate. Our protagonists knew they could lose the war, but sacrificed the book anyway, accepting their losses, since in the end, winning an easy victory is not worth losing yourself.
If I read aloud from this book, it'll be the Confederacy that's damned.
It's that book, it's the end.
Then let it be the end.
I was legit taken aback. It's so depressing, but such an incredibly deep finale that sticks with you. Our protagonist refused to become a full monster and dies sticking to what's right, even in the face of death, which, while losing the war, made him a better man in the eyes of God in the bitter end. That's honestly rather profound. Heck, I believe this episode does the what makes a good soldier idea 1,000 times better than the 7th is made up of phantoms did, since it's way more savage and grand at it. I never got why Walter Benasiak claimed that this was the most ridiculous episode of the show. Like, bro, have you been watching this series? There's way crazier stuff than this. While yeah, there's a few over-the-top and twisted scenes, the ending genuinely made this a wicked treat, with something to say. The performances are decent, the visuals are distinct, the plot has both sinister fun and intelligent messages, the theme is still just as relevant as ever, the moral dilemma is complex, the scares are eerie, and the ending is quite heavy for a military-themed episode. I strongly recommend it because this tale is amazingly fun and full of clever commentary on the price of war. So, I award it a Gold Medal of Honor. Still Valley's an awesome cautionary tale with amazingly ethical drama. You'll really want to defrost this one for unholy grimness.
An obscure little place where a battle was brewing, a town called Gettysburg. And this one was fought without the help of the devil. Small historical note not to be found in any known books, but part of the records in the Twilight Zone.
The Twilight Zone.